Hey guys, welcome back to Open It and Play. This is Mike, and today we're going to be looking at the Marvel Legends series Ghost Rider versus the Marvel Legends series Ghost Rider. So both of these Ghost Riders came out in the past year or so, and I was very excited to get this guy. He's the 90s version Danny Ketch. And I'm also excited to get this guy because I used to have the 1993 Marvel calendar, I think it was. And it had this kind of classic Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider as one of the images. And that was sort of one of my introductions to comics, or my first introductions to comics. But we're going to take a look at both of these figures, and I think we'll go old school first. So let's look at Johnny Blaze on his red blazing bike. And you may think, why does he have just like a red bike? It's kind of odd, but that is how it was depicted back in the day. So that is what they've created. You can see some images here on the side, what he looked like back in the day. I forgot what year Ghost Rider came out, but he has been around for a while. I think he was part of like the horror genre of the 70s when that was popular, but definitely the idea was probably inspired by lots of different myths and legends through the years. But we're gonna get him out of the box and take a look at this fellow. Now I am going to have to break out the scissors or something to rip some of these parts, because he does have some parts that are kind of trapped inside. You can see the bike does have its own little flame effects that go with it. And we're going to look at his accessories first, and that will include the bike. So let's get this giant box out of here, and we'll start running through the accessories. I apologize for the sound. My neighbor is parking his kind of old style sports car in the garage nearby. Hopefully it's not gonna last too long, but I have no idea what kind of car it is, but something European and something very old. Guessing about 40 some, 50 some years old. But anyways, okay, the bike is gonna be kind of a toughie to get out of here, but we'll just try to go with it as best we can without damaging anything, hopefully. Okay, I got the handlebars out, and the bike itself, it's coming, it's almost here. Okay, it's here. Holy cow, that was tough. Okay, so that's our first look at the bike. I'll put the bike just at the back for now. It is kind of just sitting on here, and unfortunately this part is now kind of screwed up, but anyways, I'll put that back there and we'll take a closer look at the bike soon. So starting off, we have this alternate head, which Ghost Rider was sometimes sort of drawn with this style of head in the comics. It is like the rarer type of image, but I love that they included this piece. It's just kind of a nice other addition if you grew up with that version, or if that was your first introduction to the character. It's probably going to be a pleaser for you, a crowd pleaser for you. So crowd pleaser, that's not really the right thing, but anyways, it hits all the right notes if that was your first introduction to the character. And alternatively, was it the Flaming Skull? I forgot what, the Blazing Skull. There was another Marvel villain character, and I think you could use this if you want to make a custom of that character. But I don't know a whole lot about him. We have this whip that he came with, or that he comes with, and his whip this time around has kind of a fire effect for the end. So you've got metallic paint on this part, which I think comes across pretty well. I do wish that they would give him just a regular chain, but I think this works pretty well if you wanted to have like a flaming on effect. Okay, he can hold this side, he can hold this side So you do have a few options. Okay. We've got this teeny tiny extra bit of fire. I don't know what it's for yet, but I think it's going to go maybe on the gas cap on the bike maybe. Okay, and then we have some alternate hands, and true to form, Marvel Legends is giving us kind of unbalanced extra hand sets. So we have these trigger finger hands, which I believe are going to be his basically handlebar holding hands. We have this open hand, and these are all supposed to look like gloves, white gloves. Will this focus? Today is a cloudy and sort of stormy day, so I think it's going to be hard to get good focus on these accessories, but hopefully you can see them. And then we also have the figure himself, but we'll wait just a bit for him. So, but I can show you real quick. He does come with fists out of the box. Okay, and then for the bike, so we have these flame effects, but in the package they've opted to put this sort of rubber band around it to hold them on in place. We can take that off with just a little bit of work, and hopefully they'll stay on. They're staying on so far. Okay, and then in the back we have the same thing. I don't know how hard these are to get off, but hopefully it doesn't give us a whole lot of trouble since I'm attempting it on camera straight out of the box without checking it beforehand. Okay, we'll get this off too. And he's got this little skull on here, which I believe he had in some of the comics, but maybe not all appearances. Okay, so, and that skull is just slightly smaller than like the adult size skull. So it's kind of an odd choice, but you could easily replace it, I think, if you had like a cheap little dollar store skeleton thing hanging around. It does have to match the right size, but I have options, but that's because I'm a toy maniac. So, and then we'll take this off. Now these seem to be coming off very easily, so these are probably going to be an issue for some people. They clip onto the sides here and sort of snake onto the back. Whoops, snake onto the back, so you can see it fits in this port on the muffler. I guess that's a muffler, right? I am not a car and bike guy, but it does fit in there very loosely, so that's kind of odd how they did that. Seems like you'd want it to sort of snake inside a bit deeper than that, but I think the bike is pretty cool looking. We'll get the handlebars on there. It's gonna go like this. So sorry, I thought it's going to be easier to just snap in, but it takes a little bit of angling. Okay, so there that is, and I'm sorry, it's not going to want to focus again. Jeez, I had the same problem last review. What's going on? Okay, so we've got a little speedometer here, and we'll see where this goes. It does not go on the gas cap or the gas tank's cap. Oh, geez. Where does it go? Where does it go? I don't see the place where it goes, but it definitely has to go somewhere. Everybody who's seen this before is like, oh, come on, Mike. But anyways, I think, okay, it's got to be here. You pop this off. Okay. You pop this off and you pop this in maybe. Is that right? I think it looks like the port is the right size. Yes, that's the way it goes. So if you opt to not use this little skull tower mechanism, then you can put just the fire on. Okay. And let's get to the figure. This is going to be a long review because we got both guys. I hope I can pull it off without my phone overheating too much. My phone's battery is actually so swollen that the camera's lens is coming off my phone as a result. But I do have a new old phone to replace it, but I haven't had the telephone service adjust that yet. So I gotta do it this weekend maybe. Here is Johnny Blaze in his very classic look. I think that the figure is nice. It has a kind of comic aesthetic to it. One of the things that seems to be a drawback for me is his eyes, where he's got the penance stare if he's looking straight on, but if it's from the side, it's this really lazy paint job where they didn't even put black in here. I understand it's hard to do the penance stare from the side, but at least fill that in with black. So I might try to customize it, but I also don't want to screw it up too bad. Let's move on to the posability of the figure. So he can look up about like that. He's got a hinge and ball peg system as usual. He can look down a heck of a lot, sort of two ways. Okay, and if you make him look down enough, he kind of closes his mouth shut. This little collar piece is slightly flexible, but it's not really going to flex out of the way for this fire, so you will be limited when looking up. Okay, he's got butterfly joints, which might be a first for this. No, sorry. This guy, does he have them? No, I think it's a first for a Ghost Rider to have butterfly joints, but they'll get you back a little ways, but not a whole heck of a lot. They do seem to be not very functional. But as far as the crossbody goes, hopefully it's going to be better. This guy feels very stiff out of the package. This seems to be a bit better than the back part, but yeah, your mileage may vary. I suppose if I heat him up, I might get some better posability out of him. Okay, his arms will go all the way around, up like that. The bicep cut is usual. He's got double jointed pinless elbows that will get you back that far. The little cuff piece is a separate piece which will come off. So if you want to customize this guy, those do come off. Okay, and then he has the horizontally hinged hands. With the other hands, I think we saw it, but he's got vertical hinges for both of the trigger finger hands, and he's got a horizontal hinge for that open hand, single open hand. Okay, moving on, he has an old style ab crunch, but it's pretty functional, back that far forward a lot, but he does get the sort of shelf or bump in the back, so it doesn't look very natural. He's got an old fashioned torso twist waist cut. He can cook, I did it again. He can kick up that high, back, not really at all, out to the sides to beat the bands. So this is like, what are you doing? Where is the Spider-Mans that have this flexibility or posability? Okay, his thigh cut is functional. He's got double jointed pinless knees that will get you back really far. And he does have a boot cut. Thank God. That old Ghost Rider that doesn't have a boot cut is just insane for me. Okay, his his feet go back that far. They go forward a little bit, but you get caught up on this boot part. And then he does have ankle pivot. Okay, so that is Johnny Blaze, and we'll get a quick measurement on him. We'll leave the cycle out of it for the measurement because this is kind of the standard Marvel Legends cycle, and I think you can find that on another review. Let's try to go to about the top of his skull. So to around the top of his skull, he seems to be standing at about 16 centimeters, so just over 6¼ inches. Okay, and now we're gonna start to compare and contrast with the other one. So we're gonna move him off to the back. Okay, and let's get Danny Ketch in here. God, I hope my phone will do this. The other day I had it have an overheat warning where it tried to shut down the video, so I had to just cancel the review I was doing mid-review. But anyways, for Danny Ketch, he is the 90s version of the Ghost Rider. He's another version that was kind of like dominant when I was getting into comics. Oh, Uh-oh, the neighbors are bouncing a basketball or something. Sorry about the noise. Okay, and the back of the box looks like this. So this Ghost Rider has this giant like shield type shape on the front of his bike. Kind of like unexpected, but I think we got views of all sides, so I'm gonna go ahead and take this guy out of the box. Whoops. Okay, put this away. Okay, and there's the background on that one. Okay, so with this one we have a little bit of a bike effect. I don't know if we're going to be able to use it on the other bike, but maybe we can try to play with that at the end. So let's go with the accessories first, the same style. This guy has different parts for his bike, a little bit different than the one we just looked at. Hopefully everything's going to come out easily. The tape is really in there. Okay, I'll just try to dump these out instead of pulling the tape off. It's kind of taped down deep inside. Okay, and then he's got the familiar whip, but with slightly different colors this time. Just a quick contrast of the whips, the darker chain, and this is the 90s Danny Ketch one. Okay, and these are getting kind of mixed together. Whoops. All right, we'll get the rest of him out. The bike, which is this kind of odd design, but a very iconic one too. Boom. And it's not going to stand up until I do this, so I'm going to do this now. Does it matter which way? I cannot tell, but maybe this way? It's kind of hard to tell which way goes best. It's slightly... Okay, we'll just stick it in because I think we can modify it. Okay, and if I want it to be a kickstand, I can't do that. Anyways, sort of sits low off to the side. Whoops, that's not in focus, huh? Okay, and then the figure himself is here. Okay, we'll get him out. And I actually had this figure out, but I haven't done anything with the bike yet. But I did have this figure out, so I apologize if there's a little bit of dust on him, that it's possible. Okay, so going with the accessories, first we'll take a look at his hands. Straight out of the box, he comes with trigger fingers, and he's got this little, it's kind of charming, but he's got this little spike part on his hand to go along with his spiky gauntlet. The other hand doesn't have that, so your hands will be clearly defined as different. This one is also the spiky one, so this is a fist. And his other hand for this is an open palm. So it's pretty shiny, but it's also a glove. Okay, we'll put those off to the side. The whip we already looked at, but we'll take another quick look at it if my camera will focus. If my camera will focus. If my camera will focus. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so flamey time. Okay, and I'm sorry, I forgot to get these out of the package too. Boom and boom. Okay, so we've taken a look at those things, and we'll put the figure back here. Assembling the bike onto the bike. So the bike is a big chunky guy. We got to put this on, which is sort of like a shield to protect the rider, I guess. And some people have noted that usually the bike has some sort of like flame effect here. So if you want to do that, you can sort of kind of do it yourself by sticking some clear plastic on there and then using a marker to color the plastic as desired. But I haven't done that obviously since I just opened it, but I do plan on doing that because it does give the bike a little more personality. Sort of looks like eyes. Okay, and the handlebar for this one is going to go in like this. Okay. All right, it pegs in there like that. And as far as the flamey effects, so maybe I should have used the flamey effects to hold the bike up. You can set it on its side like this, but it does sit pretty darn low. But with the actual flamey effects, I'll show you how those go. This one might be in the back. No. This one might be in the back. Yes. This one is in the back. And this one is in the front. Wow. So actually, they are kind of different sizes. I like the look of it. It looks like a big blob of fire. It is one color, so that part is kind of a drawback, but it's not too bad. Okay, and then we also have this alternate one where you can make the bike ramping up, and to port that in, sorry, I see this goes down here, and for riding, this goes here. Okay, sorry, I had that screwed up. Okay, to port this in, how do you port it? How do you port it? You port it under here. So it goes in like this. So I think that looks pretty cool too. Rampy. I wish this thing would stay in focus, but it doesn't. Okay, and moving on to the figure, I'll leave that over here. Moving on to the figure, so we've got our Danny Ketch Ghost Rider, and I had this in the 90s. It was a Ghost Rider series of figures by Toy Biz, and they were a really cool series as far as like kind of like spooky, supernatural type figures. I still wish that some of those characters would be made, but I don't really see those being made anytime soon because they're lesser known characters. Unlike the other Ghost Rider, this one does have a posable jaw, or a jaw that actually functions. Okay, and with this one, we'll go through his posability right now. So we've got the same. Oh, I spoke too soon. We don't have the same setup. His head comes up like a spinal column, and then he just has a single ball joint. So the posability is going to be more limited. He can't really look up. He can look down a little bit, but very little. Okay. He does have enough attitude for the way that the ball joint is created, so that's okay. Moving on to his shoulders. So he's lacking the butterfly joints, but his shoulders will go up smoothly. The bicep cut, double jointed pinless elbows will get you back that far. And whoops, his wrists on this one hinge horizontally, and this one is also horizontally. Okay, those ones that I showed you before, horizontal and horizontal, so no verticals on this guy. Okay, he's got this little chain that comes across his chest. I think it's supposed to be the same chain technically as this, so that's why this part looks similar in the middle. Sorry, my finger's in the way. But you can take it off for him whipping. You could have him have both if you really want, though I think it's more like this in the comics. So he's got one, not both. Okay, and his ab crunch will get you back that far, forward that far. Unfortunately, no diaphragm cut. I think it would work with this jacket style, but it's okay. He's a pretty good looking figure. He's got the old style torso twist waist cut. Legs will kick up that far. Out to the sides a lot. Back, maybe more so than Johnny Blaze, but not a whole lot. Okay, and he does have thigh cut. He's got double jointed pinless knees, but I seem to have a loose joint on this knee, where the top part of this knee joint seems to be loose. It's seems to be kind of defective because it doesn't want to hold its pose, which sucks for being a new figure. Okay, with this guy, does he have boot cut? Thank God he's got boot cut. Okay, and he's got ankles that hinge back that far forward. Not really. It gets caught on here. You might be able to play with it and get a little bit better, and he's got that ankle pivot. So, okay. And looking at Danny Ketch's Ghost Rider, let's get a measurement on his height. He is going to stand, sorry, I'll try to go top of the skull also. The top of his skull right around here. Okay, maybe around here. So he seems to be standing a little bit shorter, just below 6 1/4 if I had to guess or do my best guess on that. Okay. By the way, not many people are buying it for this, but you do have your little legalese paper, and I think I might have missed that on the first one, but okay. So if we put these guys side by side, you can see them here next to each other. I think these are both nice looking figures and they're satisfying so far. I do wish that this had something to cover up these screws because those kind of stand out from a distance, the shiny screws inside. But obviously the other side is different. So the bikes are both pretty cool looking. Let's see if we can put the effect from one onto the other. Does this work? Yeah, it works not too bad. It's pretty good. Let's see if the back tire will work also. Port that out, put this down, and try to put this on here. So it will maybe, if you take out the effects, let's take out the effects. Sorry, not so much. How about this one? Not so much. It doesn't really work with the back tire because the mufflers, I guess it's mufflers, interfere with that. But yeah, pretty cool looking bikes, pretty cool looking figures, and it's nice to have these guys pinless. One thing that I don't know if they will do properly, but that's actually sit on the bike. So sorry, I've got to turn off my phone because overheating. F ice, and thank you guys for tuning in. Bye for now.